And I worked for a couple other companies where I learned like what not to do. That they had raging customers after they were walking away and mistreating people. And it was, to me, I was disgusted by that, but I learned so much. And I learned there was a market for, integrity and honesty and quality. There was a market, like a niche market. Imagine you can say that. So I'm like, oh, if I do this right, people actually want that. Contractors had a bad reputation back then, like 20 years ago.
They still do.
They're scared to get, left behind, the customer.
Yeah.
So I was like, if I express that, if I be genuine and I look people in the eye and I can express my genuinity beforehand, and then start to build a reputation, I think I can do well.
Welcome to the Onsite podcast. We chat with contractors, educators, industry professionals about the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between. So without further ado, let's fucking get into it.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Onsite podcast, episode 28. That's incredible. Today we have my good friend Rory Rojas with Arima Kitchens and the Wine Storage Co. based in Ontario, correct?
Yes, in the Toronto area.
Awesome. Well, Rory, I'm excited to have you here today. I know we've been working together for a while now, and this is long overdue. So I'm super excited to dig into your business and what is new and what's coming up. Rory, do you want to share just a little bit about who you are, what you do?
I am Rory Rojas. I don't know what I am. I grew up as a creator, doing music, art, always creating things since I was a kid, little businesses, selling chocolates or whatever, creations, and I grew up in a business family. So I guess I evolved into selling kitchens, and that was one way to share my creativity. And then wine racks, wine cellars.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
Well, that's exciting. I'm excited to dig into this further about the younger entrepreneurial spirit, because I think we can probably relate with some of those conversations. I know when I was younger, I remember, I don't know how old you are. I'm sure you're much younger than me.
Thanks.
But I remember when I was a kid, and I was always creative. I was a creator, just like what you said. But there was these pedal bikes that you could buy. They had springs on the front and the back and a big banana seat. And they were kind of like intended to be like dirt bike pedal bikes. And mine was chrome. I don't know where I found this thing. It was heavy as fuck. Like it was the heaviest bike you could possibly ride, but it just looked super cool. And so it was winter. And I was like, hey, like I want to be able to ride this bike. And it had kind of like dirt bike studded tires. And I was like, I'm going to screw a stud through every tire. So I screwed a stud through every tire, made it like a grippy tread, and then realized, the front tire is not going to be able to steer. So I created this ski out of wood, and literally I stapled crazy carpet to it. I thought this was the coolest thing ever. Went outside and the whole thing fell apart. But I was super young as a creator, and always pissing around. Had a paper route, and so man, I think we can relate with a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about, your childhood. You're raised in Ontario. What did that all look like?
Yeah, we had 4 brothers. My mother had 4 brothers, so 4 problems. And
4 problems.
I guess you could say me, I'm the third, and my last brother, we're probably the closest and still are. But to kind of hook it back to the last question, like we grew up, my dad was always in retail, and then he eventually started a lot of his own businesses. I don't know how appropriate this is, but yeah, when we were young, my brother was 6 and I was like 10. One of our first ventures that we remember, and he wouldn't forgive me if I don't mention this, is we stole. That's the bad part. We stole a bunch of chocolate, maybe 24, 48 chocolate bars, little cow chocolates. And also from the school, we stole some, there's little stickers that said, please donate to so-and-so church to help rebuild this or renovate or whatever. So we took the stickers, we slapped it on the back of the chocolate, and we went door to door, and I sent my cute brother, 6 years old, knocking on the door to get donations to raise money for maybe candy or chocolate. So that was at a young age, and we were like, wow, if we can wield this power, we can do anything, and that's how the perspective of like what businesses started to form, from the early age of 10, 11. Just creating little businesses and refining it as we got older and older and older. So
yeah, I mean, I think it's fine to share stuff like that. We're kids, we're creative, right? And our minds are doing things. And I think, business is a bit of an art like that, where you have to take something essentially and convert it into a successful outcome.
Yeah.
And so you learn, through that process, whether it was right or wrong. I mean, there's lots of people that do the wrong thing in business. Like we've got our federal government, they do the wrong thing every day and they still get to show up every day. It's like the Weather Channel. You got to predict the wrong thing and continue to show up every day. But no, I think it's fine for you to share that stuff. So you had how many siblings again? Four siblings?
4 in total, yeah. Well, I had 3. There was 4 in total. There's 4 of us, like the Beatles.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Beatles. Yeah, the Beatles.
Yeah.
And so are your siblings, are they all entrepreneurs as well right now?
No, everyone went into different fields. Yeah.
You're the only one slaving away as an entrepreneur, grinding away.
But we did grow up, hanging out, always talking about, why don't we do this from drop shipping and, we could buy this from China and sell it here. We grew up always talking about businesses.
Mm-hmm.
So for better or for worse, whatever, I'm the one doing it. But
yeah, you were the only one that had the balls to actually do it, because you have to have some serious confidence and you have to be a bit twisted to want to go into business. And I mean, it's cool that you had that support at a young age. I grew up with no siblings, so I don't know what that experience would look like, but I can imagine that to be a really, inspiring thing. I think certain parts of family is really good and other parts can be really bad. You don't always get along with everyone, but they also call you out on all your shit and they're not afraid to, for the most part, just because the relationship is just so extended. So what was the first business that you started? You've got kitchen company, the wine storage company. What was the first business that you started and when?
Oh man, I can't even remember, because at this age, I'm not younger than you. I'm 47.
Okay.
At this age, memories start to fade. Thanks. I remember when online was a new thing, and I was like selling ebooks, because I'm like, you could have unlimited inventory. Yeah. So I bought a catalog of ebooks. I don't even know if it was the legality of it or not, but like the licensing of it, but it was so early. People were still figuring out the internet. So I bought a bunch of ebooks, very cheap, maybe under $10. And I was like selling them, mark it up some way. And I had a website with a catalog of ebooks I was selling, tons of things I did, tons of online. I did graphic design. It was actually in Australia, but I was doing graphic design from Canada, getting paid with PayPal, doing logos, posters, whatever, graphic design.
Kind of like Fiverr, like a service guy on Fiverr.
Yeah, but this is like in 1962. This is like ancient times. So
okay, fair enough.
I was, I was inventing the wheel.
Not
back
1962. Then.
Yeah. But I was just trying to find that faucet I could turn on and get revenue. Yeah, maybe earlier on I tried the sneaky ways, and then I realized no, if you do it legit and you have a good structure and system, that's the best way, obviously, to do it.
So when did the cabinet company come to fruition?
It's about 15 years ago. I worked for my uncle, and he was great, teaching me a lot about kitchens. He was installing and also selling. And I worked for a couple other companies where I learned like what not to do. That they had raging customers after they were walking away and mistreating people. And to me, I was disgusted by that, but I learned so much. And I learned there was a market for, integrity and honesty and quality. There was a market, like a niche market. Imagine you can say that. So I'm like, if I do this right, people actually want that. Contractors had a bad reputation back then, like 20 years ago.
They still do.
They're scared to get, left behind, the customer. Yeah. So I was like, if I express that, if I be genuine and I look people in the eye and I can express my genuinity beforehand, and then start to build a reputation, I think I can do well. So yeah, about 12 to 15 years ago, I started, on side jobs. And then when I had enough to take flight, I registered the business and never looked back.
Fucking rights. I love it, man. Well, I'm sure the first couple of years were a bit rocky or uncharted territory and just filled with, a lot of forgetful memories, and some maybe not so forgetful. So, I'd love to dig into that a little bit later here. Do you have a family, a girlfriend, a wife? Where you at with that?
I have a 8-year fiance.
Okay. There you go. So, 8-year, still growing that out.
Yeah. Well, we kind of, I guess it's pretty simple. How I said I'm a creator, and we live like gypsies. We chill. we're not so focused on let's buy a house now, let's get married now. You know what I mean? We're traveling.
The stages.
We never from her family and mine. We never had pressure to do all those things. So we enjoyed our life. We traveled. We partied a lot, and sang songs, wrote songs.
How long you guys been together?
15 years now.
Okay, so right when the business started.
Yeah, that's true. Right when it officially started.
What does she do for work?
She's supportive of mine, and on the side, she's driving kids, sometimes kids with a little of the autism
Okay.
We're young kids, you know, so babysitting and taking care of them on the side, and
Cool.
she's
Okay,
supporting
cool.
the house. Yeah.
So both kind of like an entrepreneurial spirit, you know, trying to dig in, and that's awesome that she's supportive. And I mean, I can respect the living without an agenda, because you know society is just so heavily pressured on marriage so quickly. You know, I got married really young and divorced. I mean, you know, I think if we married a little bit later in life, you know, and we're more aligned with our values, maybe we could have survived it. I don't know. And I think that just like there's this like expectation of like, okay, buy a car together. Okay, get an account together. Okay, buy a house together. You know, and all these things stack there, but you're still not building that connection. And so I don't think, you know, the timeline really matters. You know, I think the important thing is that, you know, you support each other in the right ways, which sounds like you guys do. And, you know, you continue to grow together and have fun and date your wife, I think, or your girlfriend, or, you know, your wife, future wife.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of people forget to do that, and they become caregivers. No kids, right?
Yeah. No kids. Okay.
Yeah, so it's straight relationship, which is awesome, and I love that you guys got that.
Hey, we've got an ad here. Make sure to pay attention. What's up, guys? Are you a contractor or business owner looking to take things to the next level? Well, I've got something for you. The Elite Builder Society is a community that helps contractors grow and scale. For $49 a month, you can have access to 20 group coaching calls. Look, you're probably wondering, how am I going to show up to 20 calls, Brandon? That's a lot. And yeah, it is a lot for $49 a month. But every call is recorded so you can watch it at your leisure. But you get the best experience when you're live on the call with us. Okay, at the end of every webinar, there will be a Q&A where you can ask the industry expert questions that you can implement into your business. Look, if you're ready to take things to the next level for $49 a month, go to ebsworks.com and register today. I look forward to seeing you inside the community.
Okay, so 15 years ago, Rory started his business. He woke up one day a different man. He said, fuck it, I'm gonna take the leap and go on my own. Along the way, what is that journey kind of look like? Paint a picture for us, you know, what it was like starting this company out. Probably worked with I know you have a lot of community friends, family. You know, those are probably your first clients, like everyone.
Yeah.
Some were probably great. Some were probably not so great. And, you know, what was that initial journey like?
Yeah. I guess I had a lot of bad bosses, you know, or managers in my life. So it was always in my mind, and I'm happy for them, you know, George, Mateo, like I'm happy for them because they were rude and disrespectful. And it put it in my head like a grain of sand, like a long time ago, like I got to do my own thing, you know?
I got to be better than these guys.
Yeah. I got to get out of here. I can't have somebody whistling. Hey, like to me, that's disrespectful. And I remember George with the red cap in the factory. I worked in a factory making cabinets, and he's whistling at me, and I'm like ignoring him. And then he's like, hey, you don't hear me whistling? I'm like, I do, but don't whistle at me. That's disrespectful, how I was raised, you know? Well, everyone else doesn't mind that. I'm like, well, I mind it. So it's like leaving a lot of jobs, and I'm forgetting the original question here, but you know, leaving a lot of jobs, and it was always in my mind that I got to start my own thing.
Yeah. So what was it like initially in the beginning? Like, you know, what were some of the struggles that you faced, you know, starting a business? Because like I can share a mountain of experiences with my business, but I'd love for you to, you know, start and share what that initial, you know, first couple of years was like.
I guess why I said that right there is because in answering your question, I would say I was hungry to get clients, you know, and do it on myself. So the initial stuff was side jobs, you know, like I'm trying to sell kitchens eventually, but the first clients were like, can you like adjust a shelf in my kitchen or fix a drawer, you know, or replace this damaged door? So little things. But I always appreciated it because it got me away from the hell or the disrespect that I was offended by. Yeah. So the first thing was lots of little jobs. And then you could say it takes long or it doesn't take long, depending on how you look at things. I'm positive. So, you know, within 6 months, a year, the same person that I fixed their drawer was asking me for a bathroom cabinet or, you know, a laundry room. And then it grows from there, you know. And then once, thank God for the digital age, you know, once you get pictures, you throw it online, and then you could kind of use that as a step up, you know. Oh, if you do this, you could probably do this. And, if, you know, so now I'm doing pretty significant houses, big kitchens, big, huge laundry rooms, whatever, major things. But it all comes down to, fixing that shelf initially and just showing up and doing the little things, and honestly, I don't want to advertise this, but I would still do the little shelf, because I appreciate it. And that's where I came from. I appreciate the business. So,
well, those small projects, like we always talk about, those small opportunities, always open the door for the bigger, better opportunities. And I'm glad that you were just humble through that whole process. You never talked really about like, 'cause there's probably some struggle, you're obviously not making enough bread to put mega food on the table if you're just doing some service work here and there. And, so there would have been some financial pressure throughout that entire process. And you never focused on that. You're definitely a positive individual, and so I love that. I love that you grinded through it. And I think a lot of businesses, fail to remove the victim mentality that they deserve something. Nobody deserves anything. You earn everything you get, and I think you've earned your spot, in the GTA as one of the premier cabinet companies and wine storage companies. So let's talk about the evolution of Arima Kitchens and the Wine Storage Co. Where are you currently at? Like, what kind of projects are you currently doing, and what does that mean to you?
Yeah, where I'm at, I think I grew organically and like a lot of entrepreneurs do, and I had to reinvent the wheel, and I got to a certain point, which was impressive to my younger self, I would say. And to myself, but I gradually grew to a point where, working on big projects and impressive projects. And I guess I got to a ceiling where I needed some help, some coaching. But so
we started working together.
Yeah, I started to link with you, and you had all the solutions, like the guru on top of the mountain. So I was stuck. My mind kind of wandered there, but then I answered it.
No, you're good. So to help paint some context, let's share Rory's website here so you can kind of see the projects we're talking about. Rory, what's your website again?
ArimaKitchens.com.
Okay, cool. Let's pause on this one right here. So scroll down. There we go. Yeah. So if you can look at this kitchen, we've got the two-tone cabinetry with the with the black detail over the range hood, like that's significant. Can we go to his gallery of projects, please? There we go. All right. So scrolling down, we'll look at some of the projects that he works on. Scrolling down, Rory's got a plethora of different projects that he's tackling here. Some commercial, a lot of residential, some condos. You can see by just some of these images that they're very creative, unique designs that are incorporating some challenging elements and just being really creative with the space. Some of these are beautiful. Look at that one right. We'll pause right here. So this floor to ceiling display, is that black? That
it's
middle
black.
one there, Rory?
Yeah, it's tricolor black.
Stunning. Well, that's the same project. You can see the range hood there.
Yeah, it is. So that one I worked very close with the client over a couple months to get everything right. And it turned out to be one of the
you design this? You did the rendering and everything for the client?
Yeah. We have pretty cool software, so it renders it almost photorealistic.
Yeah. And so your background with design and logo to creative probably really differentiates you.
Yeah. I was a nerd. I know I look really cool, but in high school I was a nerd. I was a nerd. So there, computer programming was my thing. That's what I went to college for.
So precision.
I just have a good computer background, and that extended into graphics and design and AutoCAD and just everything, because programming is the hardest thing in computers, I would say, back then anyways.
Yeah.
So that's where it all started.
Cool, man. I talk about this a little bit, but I can barely connect a computer to a printer. That's probably one of my biggest struggles.
Yeah.
And actually I have this, everybody tells me I got to use a teleprompter to help create my content. So I bought one. I've been trying to set it up for a week, and dude, it's a fucking struggle. The other day, I went to set it up, and my screen on my desktop shrinked just to a vertical, basically like an iPhone. I couldn't fix it, didn't know how to fix it. And then on the teleprompter, the text was upside down, and I had no idea what to do. And I'm sitting here, I'm just sweating profusely because this is so foreign to me, trying to figure out how to do this stuff. And
what do you need that for?
What do you need? It's hard.
You got a lot of words.
I got a lot of words, but sometimes you forget them. And so somebody suggested that I should do that when I'm creating the content. It's natural. It's still my words, but
Yeah.
I still haven't got the thing set up, and it's literally just staring at me right now, and it's like, figure me out, and it's kind of like that printer. So you're lucky that you have that skill, that you're able, because there's a lot of contractors don't have that skill.
I recognize it as we're getting older. I realize, like, obviously technology is where it's at, right? So if you're like gonna miss a beat, you're gonna fall off the train, you know. So I always keep up to date with there's all these new AI apps. A lot of them are just for social reasons or for jokes, you know. There's one called Sora. I always mess with it, you know what I mean? Yeah, I think you're on Sora. Yeah.
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
But anything new comes up, I jump on it.
Okay. Again, I don't know how to use it really. I've created a couple things, never posted anything. Okay. Rory, you talk about software, communication, that kind of stuff. I know when we started working together, you integrated JobTread into your business. We're a huge JobTread promoter in here. And, share with us some of your software stacks that you use within your business. You know, you use JobTread, Chat GPT. Like what are some of the things that you're incorporating? And keep it, I'm sure you have lots, but what are like the top 3?
Yeah. JobTread was like the savior, honestly, because before JobTread I had just a bunch of different files and a bunch of different software, maybe 10. And JobTread like just clicks it all together in one place. You know, before, to do a quote, I would take this information from 3 different places. I would go in the spreadsheet that I had to do the formulas and Now JobTread kind of, keep a long story short, learns your system, and boom, in 20 seconds I could do a quote, literally 20 seconds, because you just punch in the in data and it spits out the out data. So JobTread,
and it doesn't just produce a basic PDF, like it produces a magazine almost, essentially, does it not?
Yeah, beautiful proposal. You can't just call it a quote, it doesn't do it justice. So it can do a proposal to clients with a cover page, with a beautiful description. I'll use Chat GPT, clients, but to get a description, So if I'm doing a wine cellar, I'll say elegant wine cellar in the heart of the prestigious neighborhood of Toronto, showcasing 300 bottles or whatever, So I'll add a little butter in Chat GPT to entice.
I think you have to.
Yeah.
If you're not using it and your client looks at you, like if at this point right now, if a client expects you to be not using ChatGPT, they are literally stuck in the Stone Age. It should be expected that you're using this product of efficiency, because that's a reflection of what the actual project will look like as well. If you're not incorporating tools to make you more efficient, it's like, okay, so if we're not going to use ChatGPT, if we're going to shun people for using ChatGPT, then we're gonna actually expect those people to use handsaws, and we're going to expect those people to use screwdrivers. Because drills and saws are a version of efficiency, and so if you're, sitting there frustrated with, ChatGPT, and you think that this is a product that, is going to go away and it creates failure in your business, it doesn't. It creates efficiency. And so you're using ChatGPT, and JobTread. What other softwares are you using?
That's it. I mean, right now we're looking at, I would say there's kind of like an AI war going on to the developers of AI. So I'm looking who wins before I put my whole foot in to a year subscription. But there's another one called ArcSynth or ArchSynth, and basically it accurately takes your 3D drawings. Like when the design software spits out a 2D elevation or 3D thing, it's not photorealistic. So this will accurately take that and put it and make it into a photo accurately to scale, which is an issue that AI has been dealing with. So they do that, and then you can change the skin like this, like green tiles, green floor. You could instantly change it to red tiles, red floor, but accurately.
Cool. Josh and John from JB Brothers, they're using something very similar to that. You should link up with them, because they submit to their clients a rendering option that has different colors. And I don't know what software they're using. It could be that as well. The content, I don't know if we're capable of sharing this, but you have this 3-dimensional content that you're creating that I just love. And I love how it transforms on your Instagram. What software is that? Are we able to share that as well? It's on his Instagram profile. Instagram
posts where like a kitchen's maybe transforming or exploding.
Yeah.
I think it's called HAILOU, Hailu.
Okay.
And you give it the before picture, you give it the after picture.
Yeah.
And then you tell it how it will transform from this one to the other. So you could I take a picture of the kitchen, then I tell ChatGPT, take this kitchen out, just leave the bare walls and put a cardboard box in the middle, for example.
Yeah.
And then I use that as A and B. So then I say and I reverse it. The cardboard box explodes and shoots all the cabinets on the wall, basically. And it'll make it look like Steven Spielberg. So, you know.
Oh, here we go. Okay, cool.
This is
so
that's a transforming one. Okay.
Yeah, look at that. That's crazy. That's so cool. What else? And I commented on there, gave you some hard eyes. No, that's some awesome stuff. Well, I love that you're deep in the technology, because I think that's a differentiator in your business. And Google, I mean, focused on the next phase of your business. And so, you know, you've done a great job over the past 15 years of, you know, really digging in and building your business organically, you know, checking off all your communities, all your networking, and you're in Ontario, which is an absolute fucking war zone, unfortunately, in the construction industry. And there's so many people that could probably relate to this. And I talk about it so frequently that you get to a point where you physically understand that you cannot grow your business anymore. You just can't. You can continue to maintain it, but you cannot continue to grow it. And marketing is not putting, you know, an ad in a magazine, a local magazine. That is a form of distribution, but it's not true marketing. It's not intentional strategy. It's still a form of organic. And, you know, you've done everything with your business, but now in this next chapter in 2026, you're about to step into a space that's unfamiliar to you, probably a little bit uncomfortable, but I know that you're very excited about it. And I'd like to touch just a little bit about, you know, what this next phase for you and your business looks like.
Yeah. Well, so the next phase is using Google Ads, pretty much. We've maxed out all the organic. Well, I wouldn't say maxed out, but we've understood.
You're maintaining
understanding.
them.
Yeah. We have a good understanding where we want to go and how we want to use our organic network or organic leads. And Google Ads is the next step. So yeah, we're going to start advertising. I feel comfortable, actually, the people that have been helping me, one of which is you and Brandon. So
yeah, sorry about
that. That's okay. It's excusable. But Brandon seems to be one of the top-notch guys here in Toronto. He has a good track record and a portfolio, and I think he works with other companies such as mine to get our voices out there and share with people, you know, who are searching for luxury, high-end custom cabinetry, you know.
No, that'll be a really good expansion of your business. And, you know, just to give people context, Rory's built 15 years. He's built, you know, a very successful kitchen and wine storage company organically, you know, connecting with friends, family, contractors, vendors, you know, literally banging on fucking doors each and every day to generate opportunity. And that's normal with organic. And there is a threshold. You need to understand that there's a threshold to what you can obtain organically. And I think it's really important that you're really good before you get into spending money on any ads like Rory is. You know, he's got these softwares that are helping him produce elegant and sophisticated estimates. He's got Google reviews that promote and support and validate trust and authority in the space. So he's doing all the things right, you know, but visibility is unique. Everybody's fighting for visibility, right? And so organically, you can only physically bang on as many doors as possible. I know that everybody tries so hard to do all kinds of unique, crazy things. They say that you don't need ads, you don't need all this shit. Well, ads are measurable data that you can make decisions on, okay? And you can invest in, and you can decide, okay, I've recognized that I've generated X amount of leads in this period of time. Now I can invest a little bit more to get to double that or triple that. And that's measurable data that you can make decisions. You can't go and say, okay, I knocked on 3 doors, I had coffee with 5 friends, and I went to church on Sunday, and you know, and I talked to, you know, my wife or my uncle's friends, sisters, cousins, auntie. That's unmeasurable data. But it's important to also do that part, and you know, you've done a really good job of that, and I'm glad you've gotten to this point. And ads will be a bit of a shift for you, because it's liquid cash that has to be extracted versus time. You know, because if you look at organic marketing, it's time. It's all time. It's time and creativity and just energy, and it's all good. It's still important. You can never shut that off unless you want to spend more on ads, unless you want to spend more. There are people that don't want to do all the things you're doing. They don't want to post consistently on social. They don't want to go network. They don't want to go talk to people, and they're fine with spending money on ads, and the downside with those people is that they're going to actually spend more money on ads because they don't have the organic footprint that they require and organic confidence that they require in order to really succeed with ads. So Rory, I think you're going to see some really good results, some really good success, because you've got all of that reassurance behind what you already do and that trust and authority in this space. I'm excited for this version, just like Tom, who we just recorded a podcast with the other day. He started his ad spend. He was around $900 a month. He's at $6,000 a month in 12 months. And people ask him, how are you so busy? And he explains, and then they respond, you're fucking crazy. Because it's so unfamiliar to so many people, even to me. When I owned my construction company, spending that kind of capital on ads sounds crazy, but going through this whole process with so many different contractors, working so closely with Brendan. And just to be clear, like, Brendan is one of our educators in our community. He used to work for Google. He's like literally a fucking cheat code on what you need to do. There are all kinds of other people that run ads. But this guy's literally a cheat code, and I'm confident that that's going to give you, the results that you're thirsting for in this next chapter of 2026.
What's up, guys? I hope you're enjoying this episode of the Onsite podcast. So here's the deal. We want to grow this show, and we need your help. It's simple. Pay the tax, share the show. That's it. Let's get back into it.
So I know we can't predict the future. I know on Monday there, I guess the other day, we had our sales call, and it was focused on goals. And I mentioned to you in that call that, your goals are probably going to change in 3 to 6 months because there's just so much unfamiliar, space that you're about to enter into. But let's just say hypothetically that the world was whatever shape that we wanted it to be. What would you like to see with your company? Like, you're in a huge market, millions of people.
Yeah.
What do you want to see? What do you want your business to become?
I hope I can remember the questions once I go in this little spiel here, but I think, like, for who I am, my age, my goals, my original goals, from 15 years ago, and how I chose to grow the company was all organic. I kind of have this ignorant pride too, stubbornness that a lot of people have at the beginning, where I knew everything, and I just built up those muscles so strong, but something was holding me back. And I think that was like this side, the marketing, getting marketers and now digital marketers. So I think I have a lot of muscle behind it, my sales process, my network, my quality of the product and installation, like everything is a muscle car, and as soon as those gates are open, I think growth can be pretty fast. So my goal, for next year is to grow as fast as possible, not recklessly, but as fast as possible in the right way. I think there's a lot of potential in the Google ads, and as far as getting my name out there and product out there. But I want to scale up to where I probably should have been if I grew, steadily.
Yeah.
I kind of took it easy. It was never my goal to, when I was 25, to like grow. I wanted to pay the bills. I wanted to travel the planet and enjoy, Yeah. So now I'm like, okay, I'm getting older. I'm seeing gray hairs pop up all over my body.
Never.
Let's grow this, while I'm still young and able to, and I can share a good product. I'm proud of what I do. So I'm like, let's get it out there before it's too late.
So question, 15 years ago, right? You started your business. Tom is in his second year of business, and he's doing what we're talking about doing 15 years later for you. You connected with me when you got to an unfamiliar territory within your business, and you're like, you know what? Something just needs to be a bit different. And there's this fucking dude on internet that talks and, basically says a bunch of random shit. I'm gonna give him a chance. I'm gonna talk to him. We're in our second term of working together, just to be clear. So Rory and I started working together we're almost into a year together, and got to that point. Do you wish that after year 5, maybe you would have found somebody like me and been able to fast track, not even fast track, just grow with a little bit more directional intention? Do you wish that was something that you would have come across?
I don't know if it was who I was back then. I know certainly, I guess everybody comes to you with a certain pieces of few pieces of Lego, and you have the
Yeah.
solution. You have the ones that they're missing. And
Mhm.
for me, seemingly, I was stuck, and you had all the answers what I was missing. You know what I mean? I like to think around. I had 70% of the puzzle, but I knew I was missing a very important 30% in regards to systems. Well, all systems, basically. I guess a business is systems, but marketing and sales and everything, just processing data and perspective, the right way to look at things even. So I definitely needed that. If I learned that in year one from you and I got you as a coach, then it would have accelerated everything. Certainly. I mean, there's no doubt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, look at Tom. Like Tom is, he's going to be in his third truck by the end of his second year of business, and a shop by his third year of business. Most businesses fail by year 5. I was actually doing some data research on some specific locations and pulled remodelers in one specific city. So it was like 400 remodelers. Pulled the data scrape on 400 remodelers. 40% of those businesses are all closed. Nice. That's fucking crazy. 40% of those businesses close in less than 5 years.
Yeah.
And I think what happens is you just give up. I think you just give up, or you don't know the direction. I mean, you've made it 15 years. I mean, you should give yourself, some celebration. You've given yourself 15 years organically battling with getting new leads, building new contacts. And I can promise you it's not how it is. It doesn't need to be like that. And so that's why I'm excited. I know you were hesitant with the ads thing because, you're a techie dude and you're probably like, I can figure this shit out on my own. I can do a lot of this stuff myself. But again, it comes down to, relinquishing control and putting it, giving the confidence to somebody that is in that position to really help you grow your business. And I'm glad you're stepping into that uncomfortable territory, and I'll be there to support you through the whole process. And I'm confident you'll see an outcome at the end of the day. So it's exciting. Rory, what else do you want to share with us about, your business, your life? We've got a good picture of, who you are and what you do.
Yeah.
And, what else do you want to share with us about who Rory is?
Oh man, I don't know. I'm so humble. I don't share, but
you're a humble dude.
Yeah, I'm humble. I don't know. I guess at this age, maybe if there's younger people looking, I would say, be social, talk to people, read books. Don't worry what anyone else tells you or in your friend group. You could always fix yourself up. When I was younger, it wasn't cool to read self-help books or, read nerd stuff. And I I was in the wrong crowd. I was drinking and smoking and all that stuff. But very young, I'm like, you know what? I don't want to do this forever. So, pick up a book, read, ask older people who have what you want, and start to form a policy of how to live life. I would say that was helpful to me.
I love that policy on how to live life.
Yeah.
I also lived a unique life, raised by a single mother, in a unique school, really unique crowd of people, some of which I still are not connected to, but I know them and I see them in their lives and they're doing fine, but that was the crowd that we aligned with. And it's just crazy to think, the path that I'm on right now is just completely different. And I don't have a lot of, friends. I've lightened up my load to open up room for a lot of other people. A lot of the contractors that I work with, honestly, I would call them probably closer friends than most people right now. And I love it because their mindset is all about this keyword that I'm going to start using more frequently, which is they take action. Rory came to me with areas in his business where he was maybe, curious about what the other options look like. I'm sure you were a bit optimistic or hesitant even when you started working with me, saying, I know all my this shit. Like, what's this guy gonna fucking be able to do? And at some point, I think there was this like light switch where it was like, oh, he really can help me grow my business. I'm gonna lean into this. I'm gonna take action.
You definitely had the answers. I knew where I was lacking. I don't know if that's unique for me or not, but I knew exactly what I needed.
Blind spots.
Yeah, I knew my blind spots, and you had them right there, and that's when I really felt comfortable with you. I'm like, I need a software that does it. You're like, job trick. My process is lacking here. Okay, you do this, this, and this. Listen to this audio tape that you made. Audio lesson. And it solved a lot of problems quickly. Yeah, and I was hungry for it, so I just eat it up. I think the new kids go like this. That's just like, so I was just eating it up. It was perfect. It fit.
No, that's good, man. Well, I think that's the biggest struggle in this industry. I'm going to wrap this thing up here pretty quick, but I think the biggest struggle in the industry is that most contractors really are so fucking indecisive. And I get really frustrated with this because when you review data that says that 40% of people fail because they're in their own way, it's like our program is $49 a month to just get started, literally just to get started, you know, and you opted into one-on-one coaching. And so you're getting an elevated experience, but there's no fucking excuse anymore. Like I built this, you know, to help people like you and to help the younger version of myself fill those blinds. But I don't know everything either also, you know, and that's why we have all these other people like Brendan that are there as resources to help grow. And so, you know, I'm glad that, Rory, you took action, you've leaned in, and I'm excited, not even nervous for a second about this next phase for you, because I know that you're capable of converting an opportunity. You know, one of the biggest things that we teach the contractors that we work with, and, you know, Rory, we've gone through this lots, is when there is an opportunity in front of you, you need to be so fucking confident in your process that your conversion rate is nearly 100%. And when you don't get it, you need to look at, why didn't I get this? You know, and some things are uncontrollable. And I think, Rory, you know that, you know, going into things now, any opportunity, you're in control of that opportunity. You have all of the answers that you need to convert that customer, you know, if that is truly going to be a customer. And so, you know, I think that you're set up for success in 2026, and I'm excited to kind of table that alongside with you. Is there anything else you want to share with us today?
I don't have anything else to share.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate.
I never assert.
Well, hey, people are going to want to find you though, so we got to help them understand where to get you. So on Instagram, where can people find you?
So for the kitchens, you can see us at symbol Arima Kitchens. So it's ARIMA Kitchens. And the Wine Storage Co. is another beautiful site you might want to check out. It's at the Wine Storage Co. All one word, CO at the end. And I like Instagram, so that's the best place to look, and you can see what kind of work you're dealing with.
Okay, hell yeah. So if you're in the GTA area and you are looking to get any of these services, and if Drake happens to be listening to this podcast today, Rory can service your house as well.
I'm in the neighborhood.
He's in the neighborhood already. So if you're Drake and you're listening to this today, which would be awesome, but unlikely, Rory can take care of you for both your kitchen and wine storage needs. And anybody else in the greater GTA that's looking for high quality and affordable. Also, there's affordable options as well. You know, Rory doesn't just do crazy shit. He also does, you know, the regular stuff that everyday homeowners need. And so if you're looking for a kitchen or a wine cellar storage system, definitely connect with Rory. Rory, thank you so much for being on today's episode. And until next time. Yeah,
my pleasure. Thanks for having me. It was fun.
Cool.
And I'll see you soon.
Awesome.
All right, that concludes this episode of the Onsite Podcast. Remember, if you enjoyed this episode, please pay the tax, share the show. Guys, if you want to be a part of the Elite Builder Society, all you got to do is pay $49 a month. That's it. $49 a month. You get 20 group coaching calls every month. Okay? Go to ebsworks.com and register today. If you enjoyed the show, please pay the tax and share the show.